You are Locked On Knicks POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, we are back. It wasn't pretty, and expectations were that this would not be a close game. That's why they play the games, folks. It's a victory. That's right. Knicks beat Philadelphia in overtime tonight. Final score 125-119. Karl Anthony Towns did not play. Sore thumb. More on that coming up. Jalen Brunson certainly picked up the slack, scoring a game-high 38. Josh Hart with yet another triple-double. With all that said, as we said, the Knicks still needed overtime to beat Philly. Again, 125-119, the final score. All right, let's do it. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Again, welcome aboard. You can follow me on X at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Knicks postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Knicks podcast feed. The postcast, which is this, gives you a place to hang out after every single Knicks game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll break down the night for Josh Hart. As we said, yet another triple-double, his 5th of the season. 10 points, 17 rebounds, and 12 assists, and yet another triple-double. His 5th of the season, as we said, we'll break it all down. We'll also update Cat's status moving forward as New York wins in Philly for a second time this season. All that coming up on the postcast. And before we start, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at lockedondaily.com. Again, that's lockedondaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. Overtime needed. Knicks beat the Sixers 125-119, as we said in the extra session. The Knicks, believe it or not, never trailed in this game despite needing overtime. At no point did Philadelphia have a lead. They tied it, obviously, specifically in the fourth quarter. The Knicks started overtime on an 8-0 run, and that was pretty much lights out from there. As for the numbers, we talked about Jalen Brunson, a game-high 38, 14 of 22 from the floor, had 3 3-pointers. Obviously, on the night when no Cat, it was important for Jalen Brunson to forge ahead. That's exactly what he did. As we said, 38 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, did commit 5 turnovers. We'll get to the assist-to-turnover ratio coming up, as we do every night. As for Josh Hart, 10 points, 4 field goals, did not make a 3, had 17 rebounds, 5 more offensive rebounds. An amazing stat for a guy that's 6'4", 6'5" at most. Again, 5 offensive rebounds. The Knicks had 15 as a team. Jericho Sims, who got the start in place of Karl Anthony Towns tonight, he grabbed 7 rebounds, 6 offensive, folks. Really an amazing number. So between Hart and Sims, the Knicks collected 11 offensive rebounds. Now, the Knicks had lost 5 of 7 coming in. They've now given up at least 100 points in 10 of their last 11 games. And considering the type of coach that Tibbs is, this is certainly concerning. All right, the Knicks have not won back-to-back games since the end of the winning streak. Remember, it was 9 games, and they've gone back and forth ever since. The only streak they've had since then, obviously, a losing skid. But they'll try and beat Minnesota on Friday night at the Garden. If they do, that will be their first set of back-to-back wins since wins number 8 and 9 on that season-long 9-game win streak, which pretty much took up half of December. Now, We told you about the impressive December the Knicks had, a 12-4 mark. Things have been a little bit rocky here in January. Obviously, the 3-game losing skid. They've alternated wins and losses over the last week. And again, the defense obviously not there. Now, the Knicks bench did show up tonight. It's worthy of mention because, one, they don't play very often. They don't get very many minutes. Not a big rotation. And two, the Knicks bench has been outscored virtually every game this season. In fact, tonight was just the 5th time that the Knicks bench outscored the opponent. And the Knicks, believe it or not, had just 3 players come off the bench tonight. Precious Achiuwa, Cam Payne, and Deuce McBride. The only 3 to come off the bench. They combined to put up 29 points. As for the bench of Philadelphia, they put together 21 points. So again, just the 5th time this season that the Knicks bench has outscored the opponent. Again, the fewest times in the NBA, just 5 times. Now to Cat. And obviously this is a little bit more concerning. He's out with what they called a thumb sprain. There was a report after the game started that there's actually a bone chip in that right thumb, and he's considered day-to-day. Now, this report does suggest that surgery is possible, but they're going to do whatever they can to avoid it and just, I guess, manage the pain, if you will. So again, to repeat, bone chip in the thumb, according to a report. He's considered day-to-day. Again, did not play tonight. Now, he's missed 4 games so far this season. The Knicks are 2-2 in those 4 games. The wins, early versus Brooklyn, and then tonight, the losses, Orlando and Detroit. So again, mixed bag with no Cat. Again, according to the report, it's a bone chip in that right thumb. No surgery going to take place, at least as of yet. We'll talk about Cat more coming up. We'll tell you why shortly. As for Jericho Sims, he got the start, as we said, 6 offensive rebounds. And considering he only played 23 minutes, that's pretty good. His 4th start of the season. Tonight he played 23 minutes. So in back-to-back starts for Sims, his last start he played 29 minutes. His start tonight played 23. Now, what's interesting is that at the end of the game, the 5 spot belonged to Precious Achiuwa. Now, Achiuwa didn't start, but played more minutes than Sims. Achiuwa played 30 minutes, actually scored 10 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and 3 blocks. Precious Achiuwa earned minutes tonight. Not only that, he should be starting at center in place of Jericho Sims, obviously when Karl Anthony Towns is not there. All right, some other numbers. Mikal Bridges, despite pumping in 23, did so on just 9 of 19 shooting. He had his first 4 3-pointers. Didn't go well after that. Finished the night 5 of 10. Now, if you couple that with the 6 of 8 the other night against Detroit, despite that coming in a loss, that's a pretty good couple of games. That is 11 of 18 in 2 games. So despite the slow end to the night for Mikal Bridges, still pretty good. Hit 5 more 3-pointers. And the Knicks were good from 3 tonight. 16 of 37 for just over 43%, right around their season average. Again, 16 3-pointers. About a week ago against Orlando, the Knicks connected on 4 3-pointers. And when you know it, they lost. So it just goes to show when the Knicks are connecting on 16 3-pointers, odds are they're going to win. 54% from the floor tonight, 46 of 86. And again, the Knicks, 23 from Bridges. OG Anunoby, he also missed 10 shots tonight. However, he had 17 points and some huge defensive plays late and some huge dunks late. He was 3 of 10 from 3. The Knicks had 4 players hit at least 3 threes. Deuce McBride, 2 off the bench. Precious Achiuwa Deuce 3 off the bench. Campaign hit 2 early ones. Campaign hit 2 big 3-pointers early, played a total of 7 minutes, did not see the court in the second half. As for OG, we told you about 17 tonight. Back on November 12th, the last time the Knicks played the Sixers, game high 24 points in the victory for OG. So he's had a pretty good couple of games against Philadelphia. Again, 24 in a win, 17 more in a win tonight. He also had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. As for the assists, we talk about it nightly. Knicks had 28 assists. We talk about 30 assists being a benchmark for a good game. The Knicks got close, 28, committed 13 turnovers. So a so-so ratio of assists to turnovers, 28-13. Meanwhile, 27 assists for Philly, 12 turnovers for them. So right around the same numbers for both Philadelphia and New York. Knicks now 27-15. They're 14-8 away. We'll tell you what Cat did or didn't do. We'll discuss that coming up next. All right, when it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I've had this ongoing problem. I just don't have time. Between work, life, and trying to eat healthier, I was constantly feeling stressed out. I'd go to the grocery store, buy things I didn't need, and then end up with no time to actually cook. And sticking to my health goals, that was a struggle too. But everything changed when I discovered Hungry Root. Honestly, it's been a game changer. It's the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. With Hungry Root, it's like having a personal shopper and a nutritionist all in one. They take care of my grocery shopping, recommended meals and groceries based on my tastes and health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high protein and gluten-free options. And the best part, every meal is ready in 15 minutes or less. I'm talking quick, healthy meals that actually taste great, all delivered straight to my door. It's been a huge time saver and has made healthy eating so much simpler. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as I do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and free item of your choice for life. Again, hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA. Folks, don't miss out. All righty then. We have segment number 1 in the books. Segment number 2 here on the Knicks Postcast. The Knicks visited Philly tonight and treated the home folks to some rude opponents basketball. Knicks win it 125-119. Interesting about Cat. We told you about the injury. Out with a thumb sprain was what it was referred to as before the game started. However, after the game started, a report surfaced that there's actually a bone chip in that right thumb. He's considered day-to-day, no surgery as of yet. He'll just have to grin and bear it, will Cat. Now, in Philadelphia, Cat in the first half, sitting on the bench, was wearing a Philadelphia Eagles ensemble. Yes, he's in Philadelphia, but he's a New Yorker and plays for a New York team. So obviously the message got back to him at some point via social media or in the locker room. Someone got to him. Second half comes out. What is he wearing? No more Eagles garb, Knicks garb. Not a warm-up jacket, not a jersey, almost like a Knick shirt, if you will, a Knick jacket. Interesting times from Karl Anthony Towns, be it the thumb, be it the Eagles garb, or be it the Knicks wear. Very interesting times again from Karl Anthony Towns. All right, the Sixers have lost 4 straight, and obviously they were without their big man as well, Joel Embiid, the former NBA MVP. He's appeared in only 13 of 39 games this season for Philadelphia. 13. And to think at some point over the last couple of years, there was a chance the Knicks could trade for Joel Embiid. By the way, the Sixers, despite all the injuries, have fought tough, and they did so tonight. They're only 6-13 at home and only 15-24 overall. But considering their best players are out, no Kyle Lowry either. Paul George did play tonight. In fact, he scored 26 in the loss for Philadelphia. But again, point being, that is now, including tonight, 24 different starting lineups for Philadelphia. Folks, they've only played 39 games. 24 different starting lineups, and you guessed it, most in the NBA by a lot. All right, minutes per game, also a topic of discussion here on the postcast. It is every night, and there's a good reason for it, because the top 2 minutes getters in the NBA wear Knicks uniforms. Time for the minutes police, as they're called, for anyone to suggest that Josh Hart playing 49 minutes isn't something we should be concerned about. Can't help you. It's a topic for another day. Yes, Josh Hart played 49 minutes out of 53 possible. Every Knick starter, with the exception of Jericho Sims, and you can bet if Karl Anthony Towns was in there, he would have played 40 plus as well. Sims played 23. Everybody else played at least 43. Mikal Bridges played 43 minutes, the fewest of those 4 remaining starters. Interesting, considering he leads the NBA in minutes per game at 38.8, number 1. Number 2, Josh Hart, 37.5. Believe it or not, almost a full minute and a half behind Bridges. But again, Hart second in the NBA at 37.5 minutes per game. They both played a lot of minutes tonight. Bridges played 43. Hart led all players with 49 minutes played. He only took 9 shots. This gives you an idea of how complete a game Josh Hart plays with. Again, Hart played 49. Brunson played 45. OG played 45 as well. Again, Brunson had 38. 23 for Bridges, 17 for OG, and then, of course, the triple-double for Josh Hart. We told you only 3 players came off the bench tonight, a true 8-man rotation. And if you're going to cut into Jericho Sims time, it was really a 7.5-man rotation tonight. Precious Achiuwa and Jericho Sims essentially becoming one player. But Precious played 30 minutes. Deuce McBride with 22 minutes off the bench. We told you about campaign, made a couple of early 3-pointers, looked good, and never sniffed the floor after that. Played just 7 minutes. Paul George, we told you, had 26, 33 for Tyrese Maxey, who took 32 shots tonight. 13 of 32. Believe it or not, the Sixers were 50% from the floor tonight, despite shooting 9 of 20 from Paul George, 13 of 32 from Tyrese Maxey. And yes, they both combined to put up nearly 60. Point is, they took a lot of shots, very much quantity over quality for the Sixers. But again, kudos to the Sixers and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey. Yes, they had 2 of their top 3, but they don't have Embiid. And that is a big blow. They don't have Kyle Lowry either, and so on and so forth. So the fact that the Sixers, 1, didn't get blown out, and 2, forced overtime, stayed close to the Knicks, got a chance to win it. Yes, they fell short, but again, Nick Nurse, kudos to the Sixers. Again, 125-119 the final score. We'll take a look at the schedule and the numbers coming up next as we take our final break of the postcast. All right, after the holiday hustle, there's nothing quite like giving your home a little TLC. I'll always find the decluttering and refreshing my space helps me get back into a routine. Whether you're tidying up, clearing out, or just want to give your space a new look to start the year, Wayfair has everything you need, all within your budget. I'm currently looking for furniture, and their huge selection makes it easy to find pieces that fit my style and budget. My favorite part, the free and hassle-free delivery, even for the larger items. Wayfair's site was so easy to navigate. I found everything I needed in no time. Truly, there's something for every style and every home, no matter your space or budget. Give your home the refresh it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's wayfair.com. WAYFAIR.com. Again, Wayfair. Every style, every home. All right, final segment of the postcast here as the Knicks beat the Philadelphia 76ers. The Knicks had lost 5 of 7, and they'll try and win back-to-back games for the first time since the 8th and 9th wins of that season-long 9-game win streak. By the way, just for reference, those 2 wins were Monday, December 30th, Wednesday, January 1st against Washington and Utah, respectively. Those are the last 2 times. So it's really been over 2 weeks, almost 2.5 weeks it'll be since the last 2-game win streak for the Knicks. Again, back-to-back wins. It was just the second overtime game of the season, and now the Knicks have won 2 overtime games. Back in December 28th in Washington, a 136-132 overtime win over the Wizards. Jalen Brunson night. That's the night he pumped in 55. And again, that was the only other time the Knicks played overtime basketball this season. All right, looking forward, it was a quick 1-game trip back home for 2 more. Minnesota Friday, Atlanta Monday. Of course, we'll get the return of DiVincenzo, obviously a former Knick, and Julius Randle, a former Knick. They have played against the Knicks. Knicks beat the Timberwolves in Minnesota in Karl Anthony Towns' return. We'll have to wait and see if Cat plays. Again, that game is Friday night at 7:30 Eastern. Now, don't forget, it's a quick 2-game homestand. Minnesota and then Atlanta Monday. The Atlanta game on Monday is at the Garden at 3 o'clock Eastern. Martin Luther King Day extravaganza. Then we told you about the day game, the road game, which is the next day, Tuesday in Brooklyn. And then the second big 5-game homestand of the season, really in short order. They just finished up that first 5-game homestand. They'll play 5 Western Conference teams. It is not going to be easy, folks. Sacramento, Memphis, Denver, Lakers, Houston, all at home before the road gets tough for the Knicks after that. So again, to repeat, Minnesota on Friday, Atlanta on the following Monday. And again, that's a 3 o'clock game. So to go over and sum up what we saw tonight, Cat out with a thumb sprain, appears to be a bone chip in that thumb, not going to have surgery considered day-to-day. Again, this is all according to a report. He's missed 4 games this season as Cat. The Knicks are 2-2 in those 4 games. The wins against Brooklyn and then tonight against Philadelphia. The losses were to Orlando and Detroit. And by the way, all 4 games that Cat has missed, Jericho Sims has started at the 5 in his place. Sims played 23 minutes tonight. The effective minutes in the 5 spot came from Precious Ochoa, who, as we said, played 30 minutes and was a presence. 10 points, 6 rebounds, a steal, and 3 blocks. All right, Josh Hart, really the heart and soul, if you will, the guts, the glue. Yeah. MVP chance for Jalen tonight. You obviously know how valuable Cat is, but you saw the difference a Josh Hart makes. Josh Hart scored 10 points tonight and was dominant, absolutely dominant. As we said, 17 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds, 15 for the Knicks on the night. He also had 12 assists, 4 steals. Just a dominating performance, and he barely got to double digits in points. All right, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. Also want to mention our partners in crime. You know them as the All-Stars. That's exactly what they are. Gavin Scholl and Alex Wolf, they handle all the stuff at Locked On Knicks. So they're the best. Follow, subscribe, and enjoy. Again, 125-119, the final score in overtime. Knicks are now 2-0 in overtime. Again, just a couple of weeks ago, they beat Washington in overtime. If you recall, that's the night Jalen Brunson put up 55. Tonight, he put up 38 to lead all scores on 14 of 22 shooting. Knicks are now 27-15 overall, 14-8 at home. Away. They're 14-8 away. They will return home Friday night for Minnesota, Monday late afternoon for Atlanta. Again, a win. The Knicks will try and put together back-to-back wins for the first time in a while. Again, they'll get that chance Friday night against Minnesota at the Garden. We'll be with you immediately following the game. Have a good night, everyone.